Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who's going to be talking about a song that hasn't even come out yet. The song is called Bonneville by Jae Skeese, and I have to admit, I want to review this song, but I was asked by Jae Skeese's management to review this song. They're going to cut this up a little bit and get some section of me saying something about it. I'm pretty sure that what they want is, sort of a reaction thing, me being like, damn, bars, hard, which they can clip that and take that if they want, because that is the truth. If you want to listen to a song and go, damn, bars, hard, Jae Skeese's Bonneville is all there for you. Hey, it's a rare edit here. So they also asked a different YouTuber to do a video about this, Trill Tev R&R. And after I did this video, I watched that, and he's doing a reaction video. So I want to make it clear that I'm not goofing on Trill Tev. His videos are great. If you haven't checked it out, Trill Tev R&R, look it up. All the Invisible Renaissance stuff, all the, Griselda, all that stuff, Rock Marciano, Alchemist. He's doing really good stuff out there. And yeah, it's reaction, which isn't the stuff I do, but he adds a lot of thoughts and good charisma. So anyways, but you don't come to me for reactions, you come to me for thoughts. So let me give you my thoughts about this song. I've been sleeping on Jae Skeese, right? It's okay. I pay as much attention as I can, but I've been sleeping on Jae Skeese. He's released a lot of projects. Just yesterday, I reviewed his EP with Conway the Machine, and I realized how deeply I've been sleeping on this great rapper. So maybe this song will be a hit. I hope it is. I think it should be, so that you can wake up on Jae Skeese, because he's a lot of things. He's not just one MC. That's one thing this project shows. He's multiple. It's different flows, different approaches. This is a 3-minute song, so it's a pretty short song, but it's a lot of things in one. It's sort of a badass song. Sorry, you're gonna hear my baby in the background whining. That's not gonna make it onto the short clip. But even my baby likes this song. It's a short song. It's 3 minutes. It's super, badass, head noddy, filled with sort of themes of kind of violence and being tough, but at the same time, it's very political and very conscious. It's a universal song about injustice in society, about faulty, intentionally segregated urban planning. It's about the broken criminal justice system for Black Americans. It's this whole universal condemnation of the American inner city and the forces that created it, and the people who suffer from those forces creating it. But then it's also very specific. It's very hyper-local to Buffalo, New York, which, I don't live in Buffalo. I live nearby, about an hour and a half away. I live in Western New York. It's a very specific place with very specific problems and very specific emotions that one feels while living here. So it's totally universal while also being... Oh, that's the sound of my wife going upstairs. This is the coolest thing I'm about to say, so I'm going to re-say it in case they want to use that for their little cut. Bars. Damn. It's a totally universal song while also being hyper-local. It's able to do both of those things. So you can listen to the song and be from Miami, or be from Oslo, or be from Rio, and yet it's very much about Buffalo. So it starts off in a very hyper-local way with a local chain. A catchy jingle from a food store called Wilson Farms Neighborhood Food Stores. Now, I didn't grow up in Buffalo, so I did not grow up with Wilson Farms. I grew up with Cumberland Farms. And basically all Americans in any city of any size have grown up with these little convenience stores which, for the most part, used to exist. Some of them still exist, Stewart Farms still exist in central New York and upstate New York. But in general, they've all been bought out. So Wilson Farms doesn't exist anymore. It was sold to 7-Eleven in 2012, and over the past decade, they've been converting every single Wilson Farms to just another 7-Eleven. Bummer. But this kind of local jingle, even if you didn't grow up in Buffalo, this kind of jingle that used to be on TV in the 80s and 90s. Everybody's going to Wilson Farms. So it puts us in this kind of mind state. And then he basically does, Jae Skeese basically does the fight milk, caw, from Always Sunny. He has this kind of call, which helps break from this jingle to this song. And we have my least favorite part of the song is these sort of women talking about like broke guys not wanting to date them. I'm not really sure how it fits into the song. It's a little bit of a trope. It's maybe a little bit sexist. So I don't know. That's my least favorite part of the song, but it only appears a little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end. And I don't know. It doesn't really matter because then it goes into this crazy awesome chorus. So when I first heard the song, I was like, well, who's the other rapper? Like, who's the other guy? Because it can't be that the same guy who's rapping the chorus is the guy who's rapping the verse, but that's the way that it is. And we had this kind of yelling aggro style chorus over this. It's a very badass beat. I don't know who produced it. They didn't tell me. So congratulations, whoever produced this. You made a great song. It's got basically, it's a fairly simple boom bap beat, but it's really well done with just these two notes. Do, do, bars, you know, little like gets kind of noisy in the chorus with this little like tinkling piano. And Jae Skeese just starts off, want to tell you about the east side. Where's the rest of the lyrics? Oh, there. Pavement is frigid, this ain't Antigua. Interesting slanted multisyllabic rhyme there. Antigua, east side. Keep your Timberlands and Long Johns and get your fleece right. This is great because this is universal, okay? Even a white guy from the suburbs of Rochester, New York, when I hear someone from Buffalo, New York, talking about keeping your long johns on, that's true. I mean, that is something you absolutely need to do. Now, of course, if you didn't know this, I didn't know this until recently, the fashion of having Timberlands in rap music came from rappers who were imitating drug dealers in New York who had to stay outside all day and they couldn't wear cool sneakers. They had to wear Timberlands. So that's how that became a nationwide fad, right? So that's, I suppose, the other meaning, that if you have to be out on the street, but it doesn't really matter because if you're in Buffalo and basically half the year, if you're not wearing long johns, you're just miserable and you're cold. Repping street signs, plus there's no respect for a peace sign. Swiping pockets like credit cards, you get declined. Don't know, I'll take you for a rewind. On this side of Maine, we all black, is that by design? Yes, it is. It's designed. It was designed. Segregation of American cities was designed. It was initially designed by discriminatory housing policy, and then by redlining and by school districting and tax codes. It was all designed. The segregation of American cities was designed. And we all live in these cities. And the sort of weird, grotesque reality of it is people who suffered from that, such as Jae Skeese, makes music and entertainment, which is then consumed by people who benefited from that. People like myself, who grew up in a suburb which was basically all white and had all the great taxes for all the schools and the whole thing. It's that sort of pain provided profit idea, which is what was which is the name of his EP with Conway. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is whole kind of like a badass, like, you're from Buffalo, and it's like this, and it's like Buffalo, it's like that. And then it's like, oh, also, let's have an incrimination of the entire American urban system and the way it was set up and the systematic injustices. Wait, what? I thought we were just like booming our heads and talking about Timberlands, and, you know, that's what I'm saying. Jae Skeese is many people in one. You don't know, I mean, you know how it feel. You've seen the Bonneville when it creeped by. You don't want no excuses getting your G ride. The ending's fine, but honestly, for me, it's that crazy that crazy bit where he talks about, is this all by design? And then, for reasons, we start to hear Wyclef and the song "How Many Mics." How many mics do we rep on the deli? But it's a sample which is thrown in, I think, just sort of for noise. It's kind of interesting because it's like, it's sort of in the back and it's interrupted by Jae Skeese saying, ah. And it's funny because if you listen to How Many Mics, it's one of the great chill rap songs of all time. Super chill. You could fall asleep listening to How Many Mics. How many mics do you rock on your deli? Many, miss many. But this song is not that way, but there is a calmness to the verse. Because I just described you the chorus, then we get to the verse, and the verse is just, this is just where you just go bars. You know, there's no other response. We've been G's since the cervical. You might think you is deep. My crew is submersible, like submarines, and they ain't merciful. On instrumentals, I get surgical. That's how I found my way out. What I love about that is he has these very complicated rhymes: cervical, submersible, merciful, surgical, right? So these are all multisyllabic rhymes, right? Cervical, surgical, all right? So all three of those syllables rhyme. It's not that easy to do, and he makes it all sound cool and really badass. But then he breaks that rhyme run, the run of rhymes that are three syllables all rhyming with "that's how I found my way out." And then by breaking the rhyme with the words "that's how I found my way out," it's actually like he's telling you that he's actually breaking out. It's like he's stuck with all these cervical, submersible, merciful, surgical, glurkable, snarkable, like he's just stuck in this little world of ickable, 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 and then that's how I found my way out. So it's the ability to put together these rhymes. That's how he managed to get out. By putting instrumentals that are surgical, that's how he got out. Then he just throws in a whole description of how the prison to prison pipeline works, talking about the DA played the DJ, turned the tables, and cut the bass out. So he's talking about like people getting arrested by the district attorney. So the DA plays the DJ, turns the tables, so not like on the turntables, not like but like turning the tables on the people who have to sit in front of the DA and end up getting courses, cut the bass out, and then the producer actually cuts the bass out on here. Took some years away, type of things that make your spirit break, and he tells the story about someone who goes to jail and comes back, and then eventually goes back to jail. To go back, you boost it with stripes like a pair of yays. This and a later reference to Air Force Ones he's showing a lot of restraint here. Based on the last EP, the main thing Jae Skeese would like to talk about in a more perfect world is collecting sneakers. Here, I think he's more compelled to talk about systematic injustices and life in Buffalo. But we're never that far away from talking about sneakers. I get the sense, and I've never spoken with him in real life, but I get the sense that speaking with him in real life, there's like two modes. And I'm this way too with things that I care about. You know, there's like just the normal stuff, and then the thing you care about. You want to talk about sneakers? Well, the funny thing is, people think that there's no interesting Reeboks, but there are, right? Like, I get the same feeling with a lot of the guys from Griselda that, like, if you talk to them about rap music, they'll be like, whatever. But then if you're like, what do you think of Jimmy Superfly Snuka? You know, you talk about wrestling, I get the sense they'd get animated because, you know, we're all nerds. We're all into interesting stuff here. So anyways, and then he gives a landscape. He does a landscape painting of the part of Buffalo where he grew up, on the side of Maine where he lived, okay? Hair store, gas station, boarded bando, hair store, liquor store, potholes is whacker than our airport. Cool kind of sing-songy, almost childish rhyme describing how many hair stores there are at gas stations. Boarded bandos referring to abandoned houses that were used to sell drugs. Boarded bandos. And then he takes a shot at the Buffalo airport. You might not know this, you probably don't. In Western New York, there's like a little competition because we're all so miserable. And Rochester is the city I live closest to. And Rochester is impossibly smug. We act like we are the coolest part of Western New York because like Syracuse and Buffalo are so lame. And I gotta admit, I fall prey to that. I do love Rochester. I do think Rochester is way better than those other two places. But I will say that the Buffalo airport is pretty whack. Accurately described. The Rochester airport. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the Frederick Douglass International Airport. Yeah. Rochester's airport is named after an abolitionist. So, hey, I'm just saying, we do not have a whack-ass airport. But Buffalo does. Although it's a bigger airport. And if you want to actually go somewhere without having to make 5 stops, you go to Buffalo. Talks about standing on his name, had to roll the dice like Monopoly, and then sort of ends with the chorus again, and then the women coming back about not wanting to go to the water, which I guess is a place to go on a date, instead want to go to Carrabba's. Maybe sort of showing a lack of culture and sort of weird materially driven state that people are in when they grow up in this kind of situation. I don't know. So there you go. There's 14 minutes about one song. I don't know what what Jae Skeese's people are going to do with this. You can use all of it. You can use none of it. Bars. They can just use that. All right. Till next time. There's the camera.